Is the AI bubble about to burst? I don't think we're quite there yet, though this could be the beginning stages of what it might look like if we were going to get to the spot where the AI bubble does burst. We do have back-to-back gaps into new all-time highs, but I don't think this is exactly what it looks like for a capitulation top. So despite what people might be saying on Twitter, X, all that stuff, I'm fairly certain we're not there yet. But if you dig into market internals, there's definitely some interesting things happening on the back end of this rally that are worth taking a look at. All right, down here in the bottom left of the screen, you can see today, this is today, we actually had negative volume outflow in the market of greater than 300 million, negative 300 million. That is pretty significant in what you would expect to see on a fairly red day. Yet it was a gap up day and we're at the extreme highs. So I would take that as a red flag. Yesterday, volume outflow was, we had below average volume yesterday on the move up yesterday. Another red flag. Um, if you look at the tick chart today, you will see we spent the majority of the day, 55.6% below the zero line in negative tick zone. We had a bearish tick trend print on the day. Cumulative tick of negative 642, that's bearish. Our high tick of the day today was 522, that's absolutely nothing. Though I will say that the low tick wasn't all that bad either at negative 448. Um, some other things going on is junk bonds printed a red day today. RSP breadth was a red day today. So there's a lot of bearish market internals going on with an extremely bullish chart. So there's some things that I would gather from that. My opinion, yeah, the market's way up, but we don't have a stable base below us. It could all crumble in an instant. Um, we're not seeing new money buyers getting involved in the broad market at the top of this move, other than in some very specific single stocks in the Mag 7. So this entire move up is run by NVDA, Microsoft, um, Tesla, etc. Okay, Apple. And if you don't know, NVIDIA announced about 400 catalysts on itself today. I mean, they got new partners in every direction, all kinds of stuff going on. And then I think I might have heard rumors that maybe Thursday it's going to be announced that there's going to be a way for NVIDIA and AMD to get back into the China market. So, all that happens, then the market could continue to move up. But if there's any pullbacks in those stocks and no rotation into other sectors outside of SMH, outside of XLK, and I will tell you that there's many sectors, many of the charts in the S&P sectors look pretty bearish outside of XLK, outside of SMH. So that is really the backbone of what's holding us up on this big run up. And I don't think that we have a reason to just run and short the market. I mean, just because we have all these red flags, that doesn't mean short the market. Because if you look at some of these charts that are causing the run up, they're looking like they have quite a bit of room they could run. NVIDIA is coming out of a major multi-week range, and could it could run for a big old chunk up. So it's just some, thoughts to move forward with. So let's take a look at the charts, not this chart. Where is it? All right. Go to the hourly chart on QQQ. So, I mean, QQQ, we got all these gaps below us. So I would have to say I remain skeptical of getting a higher low of the high of day over the high of day and trying to catch that for long. Granted, we can't say it hasn't been working the last couple days. The risk is high. So ideally, what I'd want to see is a pullback, either a pullback to close the rest of this tiny gap or a pullback to 618.25, a pullback to 612.50, which would be the ideal higher low on the daily chart. Any pullbacks to there that set us up to go long, I'm long. That's great all day. The name of the game here in this market is absolutely pullback longs. Um, but as far as catching a higher low over 634.60 tomorrow, I would need really bullish internals. I'd need a lot of good reasons to do that. Um, just dangerous, dangerous in this environment. All right, SPY, we kind of made it up to the expected move high for the week today. 688.48 was the expected move for the whole entire week from the options market last Friday. We have made it there today, and it looks like, SPY rejected pretty much right off of it. We got a new all-time high resistance level here, 688.70. Just looking for pullback longs. Pullback longs, uh, probably the most important level below us right now on SPY 684.45, which is the spike base from end of day yesterday. Um, you don't know what a spike base is, it's basically just in market profile. It's a run within the last 30 minutes close of the day that has single prints on the TPO charts. Um, and it's a bullish data point to carry forward. A lot of times when that happens, you have a gap up overnight, much as we did after it happened yesterday. Okay. So tomorrow's FOMC day. I would personally be looking to trade first hour of the day, maybe the first 2 hours. Um, I'm gonna go after hopefully the best trades in the morning and then get out of there until FOMC comes out and then reconfigure from that point forward. So um, let's look at the daily chart on SPY real quick. So the ideal higher low location on SPY here, 674 to 672.65. If we ever, when we ever get a pullback down, back down to here, that's where I'd be looking for the daily chart to reconfigure back to the long side. Let's take a look at SOFI, which has kind of been on a tear after earnings today. Really nice daily looking chart. This is new all-time highs. We're pulling out of a bounce range. So whenever we're pulling out of a bounce range like this into new all-time highs, you kind of just double that range is a potential target for a breakout like this. We got a nice hammer candle on the breakout. Really good sign there. So what I'd be looking for tomorrow on SoFi, if it does happen, if we pull back into 31 and get a nice hold of that level, I wouldn't have a problem taking that long back to the 31.75 and possibly beyond that. But keeping FOMC in mind, I would want to be not stuck in an all-day trade for absolutely certain tomorrow. So I'm just gonna throw some ideas out here and gonna be up really up to me to figure out which one of these trades is gonna play out tomorrow and which one the best one to go with is. And I kind of figure that out by using pre-market volume, using any catalyst, using momentum on that, etc. The next one I want to look at is Intel. It broke into this really old gap up here today, hit support at 42.45. So, and then kind of came back down. So, what I would, for me to get involved, what I'd want to see tomorrow, I moved to 40.50 that held, and then I would look to get involved back long up to 41.65, then 42.45. Next chart I want to look at is, NVIDIA today. They had the conference in Washington, D.C. Jensen made re all these releases today, all these new partners. They've got all kinds of just madness going on with NVIDIA today. So it was kind of looking bearish at the start of the day. I think it open gapped up today. I believe it did, yeah. And that gap basically filled. Then we got a gap fill reversal. Then it broke over this 195.25 and just rocked. And that all happened during the conference that Jensen had in DC today. So, two possibilities of how this could go tomorrow. Well, outside of consolidation, could just take right off, get a higher low over this 202 and continue. Very possible with the amount of catalysts going on. Or what would be the better trade would be the pullback long into 195.25. Okay. Tesla has been grinding to the upside past couple days, but it hasn't been like a vicious, like Tesla move where it moves a whole bunch of percent in one day. But it's starting to get up there to these all-time highs. Um, what I'd look for tomorrow, can it pull back and hold at 458.10? If so, does that mean I'm going to go long right there? Maybe not, not with Tesla. Tesla's such a dangerous stock to trade. So I really only want to trade it when I have complete thin structure to the left-hand side. I'm not going to scroll all the way over, but thin structure just on the left-hand side is what you want to trade it. And we can find that over 466.25. So if it pulls back, holds here, and then kind of comes up, gives a higher low over this level, I would definitely consider taking Tesla long. Um, it may not even be a terrible swing long. I don't know though with the state of where the market's at and the downside risks. There's just a lot of downside risk up right now, not a lot of upside risk when it comes to news. Um, because everything's on a euphoria side right now with China, with catalysts, with interest rates. Everything's in euphoria land. So we really only have downside risk. So I'm hesitant to swing longs because of that. Let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir's, it's trying to do it, but it's just not doing it. So, let me look at the daily chart. It does got these dojis, so it's holding up over this prior range. I I just feel like there's a big breakout coming here, but when and where, or is it just gonna fail and we go back down? That would be terribly, that'd just be terrible. I don't even want to think about that. But higher low over 192.85, higher low over 190.65. When is it gonna happen? It's probably gonna be earnings next week and leave us all out of it that want to trade options. I mean, it is what it is. If that's the way it happens, then I guess that's the way it happens. Let's take a look at IWM, RTY. Uh, so it's kind of broke out of this range. Let me look at the hourly. All right. I can kind of see the possibility for a little head and shoulders right here. If that happened, I would just be looking for a lower high under that 248.25 just to fill this gap. I wouldn't take it any shorter than that if that were to occur. Otherwise, it's not bearish on the chart. I mean, we're got a double bottom right here. We got a higher low off that double bottom today. So higher low over 250.55 to take us to 251.78. However, that looks like that might have failed today. So the cleaner trade is above 251.75 with a higher low above. And that's how you avoid, you got to look at this stuff. So you look at it, failed there, failed there. So just little things like that you want to pay attention to. So you know what trades to avoid. You can't take every trade. And as far as I'm concerned, you want to take the easiest trades, the cleanest trades, and only the A plus trades. Everybody only wants to take A plus trades, but nobody wants to wait for them to happen. One of these days, when you lose enough money, you might actually start waiting for that to happen. Higher lows over 251.75 would be the cleaner trade. That in mind. Google. What's going on Google? We have a gap below us. We still have an overnight all-time high level of 271.15 that is in need of a repair. Let me look at this daily chart. This is almost a bullish three-bar play going on here, except for today did break above that level but failed. However, we're still kind of hanging on in the upper half of the day before's level there. Um, I think the cleanest trade on Google right now, we don't really have a level to work over here, so it's probably pull back to 261.68. Okay, and for the final trade, IBM pullback longs off of 309.85 with a clean setup. Um, that in mind, I don't think the market's at a capitulation top. We will know when we're there because volume will be extreme. It'll be something like a 20% move in a few days, and all the bears everywhere will finally give up on being a bear and give in to buying. And then that's when you know we're at a capitulation top. When everybody's all in, that's when we're there. And that's not what we're seeing yet. All right. Keep risk management at the forefront and have a good one.